Hello, I'm Josh Ogada on behalf of the Climate and Development Knowledge Network, CDKN, and today I'm joined by James Kuria from the East African Grain Council, EAGC, to discuss the multiple crises currently facing the East African region. Welcome, James, and thanks for chatting to me today.
Thank you.
Now, we know that the world's attention has recently been drawn to the large locust swarms that have hit East Africa in the past months. In addition to that, there's been above average rainfall, which has led to lots of flooding in most parts of the country and has displaced tens of thousands of people. Now, if you add this to additional challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has taken hold, we are seeing a situation where the country is facing lots of challenges. So over to you, James. Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about what the challenges look like from your perspective?
Yeah, starting with the locust, I think when they first came to the EAC, they came at a period early in January when the harvest was happening for the grains across the region for the second season. So the crops had reached maturity and they didn't have serious economic effects to the farmers, except to the beef farmers, because for the beef farmers, there was now the issue of consumption of the grasses. However, internally, there has been delay of the eggs and the breeding. Just last month in April, there was reported of a new swarm, which is about 100 times bigger than the one we had initially. And this one is the one that is the biggest worry now, because currently the farmers have done the planting and they're at a young stage where if the locusts consume the crops at the current stage, it will have serious economic effects. With the flooding, the effects have been serious. Though we have not heard of cases where they have destroyed the grains, except at the household level, where there is flooding at the homesteads. However, the big challenge is the destruction of the roads, which now limits the movement and inaccessibility of some of the areas. Most of the hit areas, like for the case of Kenya, the areas that rely on food aid because they are semi-arid areas. So the farmers who have been displaced, the government is looking into alternative ways of ensuring they get food, and this may include airlifting the food there because it can't be accessed by road.
Thank you, James. Just touching on the issue of transportation, obviously the rains and the floods have a huge impact, but now speaking about COVID-19, can you maybe speak a little bit more in terms of how those restrictions on movement around the country have affected the sector?
The current situation is that essential products like food should continue to move, but we have the cases of where people fear the harassment, the curfews. So in order to avoid that, the transporters tend to limit the number of vehicles that are available to do the transport. This has caused the transport industry to increase the cost for transporting of the goods, which has direct relation now to the retail price of these goods, whereby now the cost of the goods have gone higher. For the case of Mombasa and Nairobi, they don't normally produce this food. They rely on the importation of this food. So limited amount of food is coming into the two cities. So the prices again rise.
Are there any other sectors of the population that you feel will be most affected by this in terms of social and economic impact?
Yes, we have the small-scale farmers, the small-scale traders. For the small-scale farmers, I think it's a serious effect when it comes to the issue of the floods because the soils are soggy, meaning that the crops may not grow well because of the heavy rains, meaning that the farmers have to replant again. For the traders, the transport has been a serious issue now since they are not able to sell their grains appropriately, even the free movement, which means they have reduced incomes.
Now, in terms of you as the EAGC, what are the kind of things that you'd recommend to farmers and other grain stakeholders at this time?
I think one of the recommendations we'll do at EAGC is for the farmers and the business community to start taking the climate information seriously. The predictions were there, given by the meteorological departments, given by the council that is focusing on the locust, but it was never taken that seriously. And even for the business people, for the farmers, they never considered the serious effects that it's going to have. So it's a high time farmers, business community, and even the other stakeholders, including government, start to take climate information seriously and plan ahead for it. For the case of the government, our strategic food reserve, we are at nil. We don't have any grains stored now that we can use currently to distribute to those who don't have food. And this is because the stores were depleted last year. So if also on the part of the government, this was taken more seriously, probably we could be having grains within the stores that now could be dispatched to the hungry families.
Thank you very much for that, James. I think you've taken time to share with us the multiple challenges, and we really appreciate the useful insights that you've given as well. We would like to invite listeners to visit the East African Grain Council at www.eagc.org to find out more about their work and what they're doing to respond to climate issues in the grain sector. And for more information about this particular project and the other work that the Climate and Development Knowledge Network is doing, please visit www.cdkn.org.